I'm not wearing my diet plan clothes. I have a green shirt on and not a black shirt. Black is very thinning for me. And so I feel like I'm taking up a lot of space next to you. I'm sorry.
You typically take up a lot of space in this house.
How is our punching therapy going? Not recommended for all marriages, but instead of reacting, you've been, that's been fun.
Was that yesterday morning that you made that suggestion?
I think it was the day before.
Oh.
I think we've had 2 days.
And I said, I don't enjoy sparring with you. Like I didn't enjoy it when we did kickboxing.
And but I bought you pink gloves.
I don't enjoy verbal sparring with you. I don't enjoy physical sparring with you. But you said instead of reacting and being irritable, just punch me.
Yeah, it's going really well.
When you say something,
we could basically be
like
marriage counselors.
I don't know that would really
it wouldn't fly very well. No, it's not a good practice to actually do.
Is helpful in like showing me how often
that you want to react.
I want to react.
That I cause a reaction. I'm sorry. You know what I was thinking of this morning? Cars. And not in a funny way, because I was thinking of a guy that we watched on YouTube. And he's just a normal guy that bought a supercar, and now he's like a supercar YouTube guy. And I was like, that sounds like a fun life. I'm not going to get into that life, I'm pretty sure, but as the Lord leads, obviously. And then the other end of cars is usually where I hang out, is like trying to put them together myself.
Keep them running.
With so little ability. I have a little bit of mechanical ability, but it only goes so far. But YouTube is a great help.
How old is our car?
We have a car that's 17? A 2008 and a 2006. So the key in the 2006 is not coming out. So I went to go visit my friend at the Ottawa Mission, and I went to go park on the Daly Street Cumberland Street. Yeah. And I was like, the key wouldn't come out. And I was like, this is not the right street for the key to come out. So I was like,
leave a car with
I met my friend and I said, can we just hop over to the Rito Center and I'll park in the underground parking lot because my key won't come out. So I felt safer.
I was thinking about cars recently also, but I was thinking about cars in the context that people take typically pretty good care of their vehicles. Mostly, if you're in a marriage, it would be, I would say, I'm assuming, maybe this is a terrible assumption, but in a marriage, I would say it's mostly the man who takes care of the vehicle and like is pretty concerned with like, let's get the oil change and let's,
I have a feeling where you're going with this.
And I was thinking if those men, I don't know why I'm putting this on the men, but I could put it on the women too.
Half as much attention into
their marriage. Marriages would be in a very different state.
Taking them to the car wash and keeping them, oil changes regularly.
Like, I don't know. Isn't there warning lights that go off in your marriage to say like something's wrong here?
So many warning lights. And that's why we introduced the instead of there's so many warning lights. Oh, there is. When you put it in this.
There's so many warning lights that go off. Like, when you start asking yourself like, why is my wife so irritable?
I guess it goes both ways.
But I think oftentimes we just navigate around it. Like we were so busy. We were so busy doing good things that there was a few things that I feel like have come to light in the last like year and a half, 2 years that we were like, okay, this can't just keep going. Not
dashboard light.
Mostly my irritation. Mostly, I feel like it's mostly my irritation. And so I think in the last couple of years, it's really come to light of like, you can't just be irritable like this, like all the time or on a, like it would come on suddenly.
Yeah. Cause your car's not running properly. Yeah. Like, it's like, we can't, it's not running properly. Let's do something about it.
And so
let's take you to the mechanic.
I have been over the last couple of years, like over the last year, especially through 2020. But I think it started in 2019. And I think that I wanted to thank you for giving me space to do that.
Oh, man. What a blessing. What a blessing. Thank you for that. Beautiful. analogy for cars and women.
Because here's how the analogy really also went in my head of like, I am perfectly happy to just drive the car and not ever think about what needs to happen.
I think you're a kind of person.
Put it all on you and just like get mad when I go out and I can't get that key I'm mad. I'm mad. And I'm not just mad that the key won't come out. I am mad that you make me drive a car where the key won't come out. How come you haven't taken care of it?
I think there's a part of you that would just like, if the car just dies and breaks down, you're just like,
I'll just call you.
This car's done.
I'm calling an Uber and
and then we don't have a car and we just stay there until
what happens next. And I feel like it's unfair of me to just abdicate all that responsibility onto you.
I feel such a burden being lifted right now that we're going to share in this joy.
So I'm going to buy a new car tomorrow. Just kidding.
That went left.
Just kidding.
Way too far. No, do you want it? No, we actually had looked at a car and then we decided no cars. Not in the budget. So your father has he comes to my mind all the time because he was an airplane mechanic that could fix any car of any year of any destruction. And I remember him showing me this liquid that you put in the oil. Instead of oil, you put it for airplanes. And it like
why are you bringing up my childhood trauma?
Your dad is on the far left scale of mechanical. Like he has the ability to make anything run for a certain amount of time. Yeah, so that you have some trauma around that. But I think of him and I go like, if I could do this too. And so I called and I looked up YouTube videos about changing my ignition, and it seems very possible that I could do it. So the things that I couldn't find out is it plug and play? Like I just plug it in an ignition and my key will start? Not really still sure of that because no one can really answer me.
And you have to program the key.
No, there's nowhere that says you can't. And then I called the dealer and they were like, this is a very hard job and it takes a skilled mechanic. I'm like, I don't think so. So this week I will get that ignition fixed for my bae. My boo.
That was a 7-minute intro.
All right. I think it was not even an intro.
It feels like there's a lot.
These are conversations.
A lot of healing and growth that just happened right there.
I hope that the car, like, I feel that you're going to join me in the ignition replacement.
No,
after everything that you said.
I'm a cheerleader.
I think that's even more important. Like, if you sit in the passenger seat
just sit there
while I'm doing it.
Sure. I can do that.
And just giving me cheerleading instructions and holding the tool maybe. I don't even know if we need
But usually when you fix stuff like that, your son comes with you and he does it with you, which I think is honestly adorable.
So then I have a cheerleader and an engineer. And so, like, man, like, where could I go wrong?
Okay. Or we could... Never mind.
Or we could take it
to
a
new
mechanic.
Car.
No.
I don't mean new car, like new car, but like an just old new car.
Yeah, but then you would have to change something on it. There's no end. The cars are money pits. I'm looking forward to seeing
the newest car we ever owned was like 12 years old.
No. We had a 5-year-old car.
Oh.
I think twice.
All right. Did you feel that
let's get out of self-pity.
Did you feel that wave of self-pity?
No, it washed over me. It washed over me too. And then I was like, let's go to Cuba. Can you even travel now?
No.
All right. Let's just accept where we are and what we have because God's provision is good enough for us.
Okay.
Amen. All right. Accepting ourselves. Hey, here we go. While driving one day. Like, we never read these beforehand. While driving one day, a woman's attention focused on the license plate of the car ahead. The license read, "Be who you are." BWHOUR. How can I? She thought. I don't know who I am. Some of us may have felt confused when people encouraged us to be ourselves. How could we know ourselves or be who we are when, for years, many of us have submerged ourselves in the needs of others? We do have a self. We're discovering more about ourselves daily. We're learning about deserving We're learning. We're deserving of love. We're learning to accept ourselves as far as we are for the present moment, to accept our feelings, thoughts, flaws, wants, needs, and desires. If our thoughts or feelings are confused, we accept that too. To be who we are means we accept our past, our history exactly as it is. To be ourselves means we are entitled to our opinions and beliefs for the present moment and subject to change. Subject to change. Become willing to change. We accept our limitations and our strengths. To be who we are means we accept our physical selves as well as our mental, emotional, and spiritual selves for now. Being who we are in recovery means we take that acceptance one step further. We can appreciate ourselves and our history. Being who we are, loving and accepting ourselves is not a limiting attitude. Accepting and loving ourselves is how we are enable growth and change. Prayer for today. Today I will be who I am. If I'm not yet certain who I am, I will affirm that I have a right to that exciting discovery. Amen. That's beautiful.
Thoughts?
I think we have to accept ourselves where we are and understand we might not know who we are at all, but become willing to be made new. And so I think that our even understanding our belief systems, our family of origins, looking at our past, looking at the fear that's driven us and going, I don't like that version of myself. That's not the version that God will have me be. And then walking into recovery going, I want to discover who I am and what I will be. Because God has created us beautifully and wonderfully made from the womb, and we are born into separation from God. So we clamber onto life and try to figure it out all by ourselves, separated from God. And we come to a point of, this isn't working. This is horrible. I know that running a rehab center, I would ask guys, like we would do a series, and it's all about your identity. And I would ask, the first question I would say is, before we started the series, is who are you? And we go around the room and every dude's eyes was like, he's going to ask me. And we go around the room and the guys that are the smartest go, I don't know. And the other guys usually say, well, I'm in this industry and I have 3 kids. And it's like, well, that's not who you are. And so I think it's really hard to really understand who you are, whose you are, understanding what recovery is going to give you and change your whole identity, because what you do isn't who you are.
Yeah. And I think that so often it's, we can get, and I think it happens a lot with like people once they get into their 30s or 40s, they're like, wait a minute, what is this life? And who am I? And for me, it was like, I don't even really know what I like. I remember one time where I said to you, like, you realize I don't love fishing. Like, I don't actually love, I'm willing to go with you, but please stop and get me a coffee. And let's not make this a 4-hour adventure. And then just kind of recognizing like, oh, I actually, yeah, I think that we have to give ourselves space in life. And I think that that's happened a little bit over the last year. And some people have taken advantage of it. And some people have really like gone inward or, really made intentional steps to learn and grow over the last year. And then some people, I think, have just gone deeper into coping mechanisms. And then that's become, maybe to their attention that those don't work for them anymore. So we hear from those people sometimes. And I think that the reality is that as soon as we're willing, as soon as we are willing to say like, okay, God, show me something new, show me something about myself. He wants that.
Well, I think if we're accepting living out of our false self in the life of addiction, then we go back to the ease and comfort of the bottle or the drug, and it's self-destructive. So I have to go like, I'm not well, I'm not connected to God. And then how do I get into recovery, how do I become a different person? Because that's what recovery offers. It's a new life, not a fix to your old life. And so I think there's that tension of like, well, if I do this recovery, I'm just going to lose who I am, or I'm going to lose God's going to take all the fun stuff and the creative stuff. It's like, I think he's going to actually ignite that on fire to actually have purpose and meaning with it. And so recovery is possible. Change is possible. We are not stuck to what our past has defined us to be. And so there is hope for everyone. So if you want to connect further, join our LifeLab group Wednesday. Oh, today at noon, we have a open recovery meeting at noon, and our information is in our social. And then join our LifeLab if you want to go on a healing journey. You are not alone. #we do recover. All right. When do we start the ignition job?
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon, and we will see you sometime.